The Israeli government is uprooting some Arab tribes from the desert they've lived in for more than a century, but it says the Bedouins built their homes without permission. Activists claim the crackdown on Arab villages aims to replace them with Jewish settlements. RT's Paula Sleer reports.
In the middle of nowhere, the remains of Al-Arakib village. For the third time in 2 weeks, Israeli police came with their bulldozers and in little more than an hour demolished 60 houses.
This is my land. I have a paper. I have a document. This is my land. I ask this government, how do I live and how can I afford to buy this same land elsewhere in Israel? And I can't. They want me to sell my land. I won't.
And as long as he and hundreds of others won't, the police will continue to raid, backed up by a government whose official policy states this is their land.
But I think the unofficial policy underneath is that the land should go to the Jews and not to the Arabs.
The Bedouins are nomadic Arabs who've lived in the Negev desert for more than 100 years. But after Israel took over in 1948, they've been hard-pressed to prove their ownership of the land. Israel says it's built alternative cities for them with all the facilities they could hope for, but they keep coming back to the desert.
They're not abiding by the law. They live inside graveyards with horses, donkeys, sheep. The animals mess all over the graves and make it difficult for us to move them. But we have to, because they need permission to build on the land, and they don't have it.
I think that the government, they would like to push them into the townships where they could become simple workers. They would like to give the land to mainly to the army and Jewish settlements.
Just look around here. This vast uninhabited desert is home to only 7% of Israel's population. Several years ago, the government launched an ambitious program to the value of $600 million to try and attract new Jewish immigrants and Israelis to live here. It aims in the next 3 years to have more than 250,000 of them living in the desert. But as big as the desert is, it's seemingly not big enough for Jew and Arab. Juma El Tori has lost his warehouse and 7 houses, but he hasn't lost his resolve.
We are men of peace. We don't use the gun. The men who came to destroy our houses are the bad faces of this land. We did not fight back when they came.
But the fight will continue, because tomorrow, when the sun comes up, Juma will build again, and in a few weeks, the Israelis will return. Paula Sleer, RT, in the Negev Desert, Israel.